What's up? What's up? What's up? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Believe in the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Jeff Cavanaugh. And that is my dear friend and occasional star of 97.1 The Freak with us, Jesse Holley.
Oh, Jesse Holley went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Yep, Brett. Must be a reality show.
You kicked radio's ass yesterday. Go listen to all 4 hours. Get on the iHeartRadio app. Find the Speakeasy on 97.1 The Freak, where you hear me from 2 to 6 every day. And Jesse was in yesterday because Julie was out. And he kicked its ass.
Man, I felt like Goku, like when I was getting to my power. I felt alive. So thank you again for that opportunity. It was fun. It was fun. And even afterwards, the fan engagement was super fun as well. So it was good to be back in the saddle, dust off my quarter inch.
Yeah. Whoa, that's a weird. Anytime you mention inches, it's weird.
Microphone.
Yeah, it's the microphone adapter.
Yeah.
Our presentation is brought to you by our friends at BetOnline, your number one source for all your betting needs. We're going to get into the things to actually watch for in the Cowboy game, which, man, you got to really love the Cowboys in this preseason stuff. But we got some and some stuff on deck. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for all the different spokes. BetOnline, your fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting, your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember, use your promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Where do you want to start, Jesse?
So yesterday or day before yesterday, just kind of perusing around the internet, and it's always been like this, but it seems like as of recently, there has been just an uptick on, we're going to just give the most blatant and outrageous and nonsensical and unserious debates regarding Cowboy football and or Dak Prescott. And that has been like the craze, right?
That's how you get clicks, baby.
Yeah, you saw Shady and Ocho come to practice and not come to practice, but come to practice or come to the place where practice was.
Shady told Colin Cowherd that Tony Pollard looked good. Pollard wasn't there. He was at a hospital having a baby.
Well, he wasn't actually having the baby, but yeah.
He was having a baby.
Yeah, and
then urethra.
And then came, what's his name? Carton.
So I don't know his name because I don't listen to that show. I saw a headline, but I didn't care.
Yeah, this is a guy who got caught up in a scam a couple years ago. And
he went to prison.
He went to prison. He went to prison. But he's back, and they're still paying him $5 million a year. To his credit, on WFAN, he has a really popular show in the Northeast. But he too took part in the clickbait. Let's make a segment about Dak Prescott that absolutely makes no sense. I'm going to say something wildly absurd. They're going to listen to it. We're going to cut this soundbite up. We're going to digitally put it out there to the world, and the world is going to react. So here we are, the world here to react.
This is y'all's fault. This is y'all's fault. Because y'all are the ones that watch it. I don't know if people watch that one, because that one, I don't even know. That's not even a national thing, is it? Is it a local thing? I don't even know.
I don't know. I mean, they're paying him $5 million a year, so.
I know you people.
Yes.
What do you mean, you people? Are out there watching, taking in Skip, Stephen A, Ocho crap. Only watch Speak on Fox Sports when Dave Hellman's on it. Any other time, well, I don't want to tell you what to do, because I do want Dave to keep getting TV money when they have him out there. So if you want to support that show, that's fine. I'm only a Dave Hellman stan.
We are Dave Hellman fans. We're both Dave Hellman fans. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say?
No, I was going to say, so the question that was posed was, Carton was saying that out of 32 NFL teams right now, that he felt there were only 2 teams that he could unequivocally say that would change their quarterback situation and trade for Dak Prescott. And of course, that sent the world in an uproar about it. And I thought, surely there's more teams than that.
I clicked on starting NFL quarterbacks, and I can give you more teams. Now there is a wild card here, because a lot of times different teams will have a young quarterback that they believe in that doesn't make any money. And other teams might have a guy where you're debating, Yeah, Dak might be better than our guy, but it's like the 9th and 10th best quarterback or the 7th and 8th best quarterback and like whatever.
But then again, right now, what you're doing, Jeff, is you're actually putting logic to this situation,
Yeah.
which they didn't do.
Oh,
There's
okay.
no logic into it. They're just like, hey, just flat out take our guy out, put Dak Prescott in. Like that was the conversation. It wasn't about money. It wasn't about status. It wasn't about would you take right now Dak Prescott over the starting guy on your team.
Okay.
I'm upset at you because you're not supposed to be dipping. You're not supposed to be dipping. You're not supposed
I told you on the show yesterday, which you can listen to on the iHeartRadio app. I told you on the show yesterday, the challenge is when I get off work, I finished work and I went to the gas station because I am a P word. And I am a pathetic loser with an addiction. So many people in the world aren't addicted to these things. Jeff is. Why? Because you're a P word and you should man up, Jeff. But anyway, the Washington Commanders would take Dak over their quarterback situation and they would give you a lot of picks to do it. Right now it's Sam Howell and Jacoby Brissett. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers would take Dak over Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield in a heartbeat. The 49ers, Lance is a first-round pick, and Purdy is on a rookie deal, and Shanahan's insane, but they probably would. Seahawks and Geno, I would think in a heartbeat, but he did have a good year last year. Daniel Jones, they would take Dak in a heartbeat. Derek Carr, the Saints would take Dak in a heartbeat. The Rams would take Dak in a heartbeat. They tried to get rid of Stafford, but that's probably because they're trying to tank. I think the Vikings would take Dak in a heartbeat, but that is like number 7 versus number 10. So whatever. The Packers would take him in a heartbeat. The Lions would take him in a heartbeat. Bears, maybe not. Panthers, Bryce Young. The Falcons would take him in a heartbeat. They have Ritter. The Titans would take him in a heartbeat. The Steelers would take him in a heartbeat. The Patriots would take him in a heartbeat. The Raiders would take him in a heartbeat. Anthony Richardson's a rookie. Stroud's a rookie. Broncos, you're probably going to see if he can bounce back. The Browns should take him in a heartbeat, but Deshaun Watson's deal is fully guaranteed. So, yeah, there's like 10 or 12 that are no doubters.
And like not even digging into the conversation, if like simple math says, if you put Dak in the conversation of top 7 to 8 quarterbacks to 7 to 12 quarterbacks in the league.
Even if you hate him, I don't think you can get him to 12.
Right? Like I'm just saying, I'm just
right.
That tells you that there are a bunch of other teams that have a quarterback that is not better. That's not better than him. So 10, if he's at worst 10 in the top in the order of quarterbacks in the league, if he's 10 at worst. Then that means there's 22 other teams who have a quarterback who people overall deem that their quarterback is not better than Dak Prescott.
Right, but you'll have 6 to 8 probably that have recent first-round picks that would be like, no, we're going to see what happens here.
So then yeah, half the league. So there's 15, 16 teams that are saying we'll take him.
For sure. Yeah, if we're blowing out like salary cap things and just we would rather have your guy than our guy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there's at least 12 to 15 that would say, yes, we will take Dak over our guy.
He said 2.
Well, he's stupid, and he's doing what they do with the Cowboys. Like, it's even the things that are somewhat real and deserve nuance, like Trayvon Diggs, right? He has 11 interceptions, and suddenly, for the first time in the history of the world, yards allowed is a stat by corners. And every website has it differently. Ranges are 300 yards apart because people don't know coverages, and, like, you're just guessing at crap. And yeah, like there's a nuanced conversation to have about Trayvon Diggs, but it's the Cowboys. And so what you do is you say that he's not actually good. He just jumps everything. And you can't balance that in any way, shape, or form. It's like that's the Cowboy thing, is you say that either they're going to win the Super Bowl or they suck, and you pick a big name and you try to figure it out from there. That's the bit. But it is more than ever. Like the Dak thing is more than Romo ever got.
Yeah.
It's just, and I think it's just that there's more people doing that style of show and they all know what to lean into. And the answer is the Cowboys quarterback. That's what you lean into.
Will that ever get will that have longevity, or will that come to
Dak has to win a Super Bowl.
Okay. All right.
If Dak wins a Super Bowl, people shut up. Outside of that, no, it'll always be a thing. I mean, I don't want to draw attention to these people. Like Shady even went with like the idea that like, yeah, those guys in the locker room looking at him like, every time we come short, it's your fault. And that's not true. Like Dak, compare him to whatever quarterback you want in the league. And in the postseason, Dak on average plays pretty well, but it's just like, we just make up all the stuff, all of it. And it's just like, no, yeah, but choke artist. And it's like, no. And the only way to shut up people who aren't going to base it on anything is you win a Super Bowl. So I guess just win the Super Bowl, which you can't do because Zach Martin's not here.
Quarterbacks sometimes get too much credit for the win and sometimes get too much blame for the loss. But
yeah, like you go around the league and be like, look, there are, and this is why I have problems with ranking quarterbacks, because I know Lamar was banged up last year, but what's the number? 3 to 4 maybe in the league where it's like, no, this guy will drag you to winning.
Yeah.
Mahomes will do it. Lamar does it for Baltimore. Outside of that, it's hard because when you have a good team, it's hard to say they're dragging them to victory when Burrow's throwing to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase or maybe Josh Allen, but great defense, good offensive line. So it's hard because most players aren't in a position where they have to do that, but I know Mahomes can.
Aaron Rodgers has done that before. He's
Aaron Rodgers.
He's dragged some pretty mediocre average teams in the playoff, deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, and Lamar's the other one that it's absolutely positively because we can prove it. You can go look at their record when he doesn't play. They lose twice as many games as they win, and when he plays, they win 3 times as many as they lose. Lamar carries that thing. But yeah, people are going to talk about Dak. Whatever, who cares?
All right,
Dak, good quarterback.
Cowboys have their first preseason game tomorrow at home at AT&T Stadium versus the Jacksonville Jaguars, who beat them in what was it, the end of the season last year, yes? The last game of the year last year?
Yeah.
Last game of the season last year,
yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
31-14. They take on those guys in this Saturday, 4 p.m. AT&T Stadium. Where do you stand? Because I know that I may have a different stance than you when it comes to starters or kind of already definite guys on the roster. Where do you stand on those guys playing in these preseason games?
Oh, I think it's a simple risk reward thing. Like if I play my starters and nobody gets hurt, then I am more ready in week 1 to beat your ass than you are to beat mine. If your guys did not play real football to get ready. So I understand the appeal of it, but I think you have 17 games that matter. These 3 aren't them. And so I am a big proponent of Tyron Smith. You ain't touching the field. Zach Martin, you ain't touching the field. Dak Prescott, you're not touching the field. I probably wouldn't have CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Micah Parsons touch the field. I am a big fan of we are not going to expose our guy to injury risk in a game that doesn't count, knowing it means in week 1, if another team did play everybody, they might be a little more ready for this. I'm willing to be behind the 8 ball for the first half of the first game to know that I did not expose once or twice or 3 times my good players to injury.
Yeah, they're reporting, and I don't know how much of this is true. We'll definitely find out by game time, but Trevor Lawrence is supposed to play tomorrow.
Cool.
He's supposed to play tomorrow. And I guess my take on it is, I come from the old school where there was 4 preseason games, right? And you had the dress rehearsal for all your starters or those guys who were kind of definitely making the team in preseason game number 3. That's now has changed. The new CBA's come in. There's only 3 preseason games now. I do feel at some point in time, however you want to play this out, guys got to play. The Daks of the worlds, the CDs of the worlds, the Micahs of the worlds. I'm not saying they have to play a half. I'm not even saying they have to play a quarter. I think they need to get some real reps in outside of the controlled practice. Because even when you do the joint practices, it's still controlled. You still can't hit the quarterback. You're still not tackling to the ground. You're still not doing a lot of those things that you would do kind of letting loose in the game. And even the speed in joint practices are different than they are in games. I can't explain it. It's just the way it is. When the money's on the line, it absolutely matters a lot more. You move different. You feel different. I just feel that needs you kind of just need the callus of your mind and body to be a little bit in that situation to get you ready for the season. Because Because for a team, when you look at their schedule and feel however you feel about the schedule and how things go, they're not going 17-0. Okay? They're not going 17-0.
They might.
But what we seem to kind of at times at the end of the year, it's always a game or two that we need, right? It's always, man, if we need this game and we need this game and so to lose and da. But when you look back and you go, man, we lost to the Commanders and we lost to Jacksonville or we lost to whoever. There's games a part of the season, but it's those early season games, those first 3 or 4 games of the season. If you drop one then, those at times can come back and haunt you later on. So my thing is let's get ourselves absolutely ready to take on those early games in the season so that we don't come in stumbling or we don't have to use those first 2 or 3 games as quote unquote preseason games for my starters because Tyron and Zach and Dak and Tony and Micah and Lawrence and you name it are not playing in those games. And now when they come to the real bullets are flying on game day in the season, we have to feel our way through before we actually get our sea legs underneath us.
No, like I agree with literally all of it. Like I even think back to whichever year when the stupid Giants won the Super Bowl, and I think it was like at the time that would have been week 17, their 16th game, and they had nothing to gain by it. And they threw everybody out there, and I think it was the Patriots, right? And they tried to beat the Patriots in the last, and they didn't, but they played with them. And like that game served them, and no one got hurt, which is big. And like, yes, so I agree that there's definitely a huge benefit to all of that. And then also, you could have Tony Romo end his career in a game that didn't matter. And so, like, I'm willing to forego all of those reasons because Dak could snap his leg in half, and now my season's over, and we don't get to debate which games matter.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's the logic of things, right? Then it's like, then we should just play Madden. Like, let's just play Madden all off season, all training camp. Because I mean, we've seen Sean Lee non-contact tear his ACL in practice.
Yeah,
we saw Tyron last year have to miss 10, 12 games last year because non-contact.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's just a matter of, is there a line you draw somewhere? And I guess for whatever reason, mine is, there's an amount we have to do to prepare to get ready for the season. And once we're through training camp, I think for my important guys, I would say, I think you're ready in terms of the risk reward. And are you as ready as I'd love for you to be? No, but like Micah Parsons pulls a hammy on Saturday, and so I guess mine comes down to which end result could leave me feeling the most dumb. And it's the one that gets one of my important players hurt in a game that doesn't count. That's the one that makes me feel more dumb.
Would you feel more dumb if, knock on wood, would you feel more dumb if Micah pulled a hammy in a preseason game or Micah pulled a hammy in practice?
In a preseason game.
See, to me,
no, that's fair. I've never thought about it that way, where it's like, why don't you just have them never practice? And it's like, we got to do something.
I mean, like, if he pulls it in practice, he pulls it, it's like, well, you shouldn't have had him in the team live period. No, I'm going to have Micah Parsons in the team live period. I don't know. I mean, I guess this would be a forever ending battle of, I just feel that that's needed. I think just the conditioning of it all is needed because you can't really get into football conditioning without playing football.
Okay, well, my quarterback ain't playing without Zach Martin, so I'm not doing it. My quarterback is not playing without Zach Martin. The end. Well, Josh Ball is not blocking for me if they're playing starters.
That leads to kind of my next, maybe the final question of this thing is, what position group or players are you looking at in this game who can kind of make up some ground that possibly need to, or kind of just say, all right, he's arrived?
Wait, have you met me? You asked me what position group?
Yeah, I mean, come on, have you met me?
I mean, wide receiver is the only thing that matters. I mean, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4 things that I'm actually going to watch for, which you have to really care about the team. I can't stress that enough because it's like the battle for RB2, Mike McCarthy calling plays, rookies, obviously, and the wide receivers, because what I want to see is a team that is, and they've been doing this so far this preseason, I want to see Cavanaugh Turpin play wide receiver because like Brandon Cooks can go, and that's great. in terms of guys that can really run. Turpin's even different from that. Mm-hmm. Not that he'll ever be a receiver like that, but letting him play wide receiver. And Jalen Tolbert has to show the entire world that he's ready to be wide receiver 4 or 5, which is a position that plays 15, 20 snaps a game. And then there'll be the Jesse Hollies of the world who are fighting for, please God, keep a 6th wide receiver, put me on kickoff, put me on kick return. Because we do this every year. This year it's Jalen Brooks. Yes. He looks really good in camp. Now, 2 things had to happen. 1, that has to transition to the games. Mm-hmm. And 2, you better be on the kickoff team and the kick return team. Are you gunning on punts?
Yeah.
Because the secret about 6th wide receiver is he can be the 6th best wide receiver. That don't put you on a roster because the 6th wide receiver doesn't play wide receiver unless 2 people get hurt. You don't play. So we don't care. What do you bring that's going to put you on the field?
Right.
And then we have you in case people get hurt. So I think it's relevant to Jalen Brooks and whoever else you like, Simi, whoever else you like trying to make a roster. And so, yeah, wide receiver. I want to see Turpin out there getting 50 snaps at receiver. Go run routes.
Yeah, I'm with you. My thought and my thing was, Simi, the time is now, buddy. Like literally.
Or it's over.
Like this is it for you. Like if you don't show and prove in this training camp, I mean, in these preseason games, you can find a new address because it's going to be difficult. Because I remember last year who was the training camp darling that
it was Nathan Vasher, but he wasn't on the kickoff or the kick return team. It don't matter.
And Houston.
Oh, right? Dennis Houston, yeah. And he made the team.
These are the guys who were talking about all training camp last year. So it's like now you got the 2 Jalens. You got Jalen Tolbert, you got Jalen Brooks. So you got you have to you got to stand out. And you haven't had a good enough training camp where you've been like, all right, he's really made the turn. You've had some drops, you've had some mistakes, you've had some plays that you've made. So these preseason games are going to be really crucial for guys like Simi Poku, like RB2. Like I am torn, interested, intrigued, and confused. And almost in love with the Deuce Vaughn story.
I want Deuce Vaughn to be RB2 because I believe that the small running back is not a disadvantage. I love the small running back. And I
don't see how that can happen.
Deuce is gonna make the team. I think it's Dowdle versus Malik Davis, and then Deuce exists in his own bubble. Deuce is gonna make it. Dowdle versus Malik is for the 3rd running back on the roster, or 2nd, and Deuce is 3rd.
I think Deuce makes the roster. I think Deuce gets a lot of DNPs.
I think, you know what? We'll see. I think, not that it's a common play unless your kicker is Robbie Gould or Mason Crosby. I think Turpin returns punts and Deuce returns kicks and plays some running back.
But see, that almost kind of contradicts your other point, right? Because if Turpin isn't returning punts and kicks,
I got him returning punts.
Okay, I'm saying it's a combination of both. Then where do you kind of find him offensively? CD's not coming off the field.
I'll have to look it up. But I mean, the Cowboys, you remember the Amari Cooper thing? Like he was wide receiver 1 and he played about 65, 70% of the snaps. None of these guys play 100%. None of them.
Because that's dumb.
It is dumb. CD should not come off the field, but like Gallup's going to play 40 to 50% of the snaps. Cooks will play 70% of the snaps. Lamb will play 80% of the snaps. I got snaps. I got 10 to 15 receiver snaps for Turpin.
Again?
I got 15 to 20 for Tolbert.
You got 10 to 15 receiver snaps for whoa.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. Dallas Cowboys. Now this is gonna be weird. I'm gonna look 2 years ago because last year doesn't matter because their receivers sucked. I want to see when you had real receivers. Dallas Cowboys snap counts 2020.
Because I look at right now and I say, okay, CD, Brandon, Michael. Then I think Jalen Tolbert takes the step. And so if you make Turpin the 5th wide receiver, dudes don't really get to the 5th wide receiver in a game, maybe 3 to 5 times. Maybe.
You do have injuries too, but like here is the Cowboys from 2 years ago, and this is gonna be tough because I know guys got hurt. What'd you say?
I said injuries excluded. right?
That's what I'm going to try to do. Let me try to go game by game because I need games where they all played. But like they had Amari played 834 snaps, CD played 881. Oh, here's by a percentage. Amari played 68% of snaps, CD 71, Gallup 40, Cedric Wilson 43, Noah Brown 24.5%, Malik Turner 10%. Now that
Yeah,
is going
Turpin
to be
falls in that Malik Turner 10% deal. Yes? No?
126 snaps, 17 game season, and then you throw in that a guy or two misses a game or two, so maybe more. Maybe. I think let's average offensive game. I mean, once upon a time these numbers were way lower. What do they run? 60 to 70 snaps a game?
Yeah.
So if I have, let's use just for the hell of it, let's use 60. I'm sure that snaps are more than that. Even if CD and Cooks play 50 of them, that's 20 snaps for somebody where they're not out there. Gallup will play. They're not going to have three wide receivers all the time.
Right.
And so he may miss a smaller percentage of snaps. So yeah, I bet I've got 20 to 30 receiver snaps for non-CD Cooks, Gallup guys. I got 20 to 30 of them.
But my finishing point to that is I just like two guys who are like 5'8" and under on the field, like inactive roster at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever had that before.
You know how big the average defender is?
I don't
They're big.
Ever
They're
had
big. You know what's hard to do if you're big? Catch small stuff.
Yeah, but when you do
what? Deuce is stout.
When
you might break Turpin.
When you do. But again, Turpin isn't running up against 320-pound nose tackles, right? There was a shot the other day, and it was like 4th and 1, and they gave the ball to Deuce Vaughn. How about we never do that?
Okay. Now here's the thing. I think you probably could, but you should give it to Tony Pollard. You should give it to your best back because, like, here's the thing. I saw that play on the goal line, 4th and 1, and Deuce got stopped because they didn't block well enough for him to score. But the thing that I get from Cowboy fans, and I saw one where he was like, "We should probably bring Zeke back for this," and I would just want to make sure people understand this. Like, you've created this in your mind because that's how they used him. Like Zeke scored a bunch of touchdowns. Tony Pollard was literally better than him in the same scenarios. 3rd and 4th down, 2 or less to go. Pollard was better than Zeke. So like the idea that there's this mystical man out there that was incredible at it. Zeke was literally on 3rd and 4th and short last year, a slightly below average running back. But we got to see him score touchdowns. And so it's like, we're missing that now. You're not. Whoever gets it handed to him is going to score. Except on that play.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. And then, of course, none of the Turpin stuff happens or the Vaughn stuff happens if they can't block up front, right? And so it's going to be interesting to see what they are up front. I don't know how many snaps Tyler Smith will play. I don't know how many snaps Tyron will play or if he'll play or
they might hold them all. Like Biotish might not play because he almost kind of sort of got banged up.
That's what I'm saying. Like Biotish to me is not good enough not to play.
I think that's fair. We do. You and I could agree because we would just make lines. I'd be like, look, I'm gonna give you like 6 dudes that aren't gonna play.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not every starter, but I got about 6 dudes that ain't playing. And that's it. That's all I need.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Training camp still under. Well, they're traveling today back to Oxnard. They're traveling home for almost like a visitor game because they'll travel in, play the game, bounce back to Oxnard.
I mean, there ain't nothing to do. Wait, no, this one's here, right?
Yeah, they'll travel to Arlington, play the game.
See, I think I'd fake an injury. No, because then they want me to go back to Oxnard to work with the trainers. I'm trying to find a way to not go back. Like, guys, we did camp. It's over. Now we're getting ready for fake games. Like, I'm good. Tyron wants to go to the house. Like, he's just going to go to the house.
That's a good question. Do they let these guys go to the house? Like, when we land, can we go to the house for a couple hours?
I bet the answer is the same as everywhere else, Jesse. Jesse Holley didn't get to go to the house.
You're right.
But Dak got to go to the house.
Mike is going to the house. CD's going to the house. I'm going to the Omni. And you better be there. You better be there when they come do room check at 11 o'clock.
Yes, Simi and Simi ain't going to the house. CD might. All right, get ready. Enjoy the game. He's Jesse, and you can find him everywhere. You just wait till I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him stuck on 97.1 The Freak. I'm gonna get him. I don't know how yet. I don't even know what the role is, but I'm gonna figure it out. It's gonna be badass.
But until then, you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Fourth Along. You can find me at Hanging with the Boys, DallasCowboys.com. You can find me here at Believe Network. You can find me on A to Z Sports, and soon you'll be able to find me on Unfiltered with Jesse Holley on YouTube. That boy's working.
So many things. Yeah, get the YouTube page going so I can throw the YouTube link all over my YouTube and we can get the number thingies up and you can make all the money.
Let's go.
Because people don't know how incredibly wealthy I am off of this YouTube channel. All right. Bye, everyone. Remember, you have no idea what anyone's going through. Be cool to everyone. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingencies.